cost.
Yeah. Well, there are milestones in people's lives, and one of them was for Kerri. When she was my assistant coach at Mount Baker, we brought our team to Western's summer basketball camp. And Kerri was helping me. She was also taking summer classes, but she was helping me out. And one day she said, Freeman, I'm not going to be at our scrimmages tomorrow night. And I said, why? And she said, well, I've got a blind date down in Skagit. And I look at her and I said, now where are your priorities? Anyway, is a date more important than basketball? How could this be? And she said, well, I'm going on this date, blind date. So the next day she comes back. And we'd had many talks about how do you know when you're in love and all this stuff. And I told her, you know, you're going to hear bells. They'll go off. And she came back the next day. She said, remember what you said about the bells? I said, yeah. She said, well, I think they went off. I said, you're kidding. She said, no. She said, I have to meet this guy. So she brought him the next day. She brings him to the upper gym, one of the upper floors up there. And my team is warming up. Girls basketball players warming up. There are two lines. They're shooting layups, getting rebounds, coming, doing all this stuff. And Kerri Caviezel walks into the gym. And it was as if my girls had never played basketball in their lives. The ball was bouncing off their feet. And the ultimate embarrassment was one of them went up for a layup, and the ball got stuck between the rim and the backboard. Embarrassing not only for them, but for me, because I can't jump high enough to knock it out. That only leaves one person, Kerri Caviezel. And he walks over, pops up in the air, knocks the ball loose, and all the girls are going, oh. And I'm sitting there like show off. And that's how I met Kerri Caviezel. And that's quite a milestone.
And I'll add a couple pieces to that. So Kerri was at my house with Jim's sister, and Kerri left, and she said to me, I have a brother that needs to meet her. And out of the blue, Jim called me and said, I hear you have a friend that I need to meet. And I said, well, yeah, I have a friend, and you could meet her. And he said, but I hear she's out of the country. I said, yeah, she's in England with her brother. And he's like, well, what if I go up to the airport and meet her when she gets off the plane? And I said, oh, that sounds like such a great idea. And my mom was the voice of reason and said, are you crazy? And I got thinking afterwards, I probably would not be sitting up here today if I would have let that happen. So my mom was the voice of reason, and thankfully Kerri and I are still friends after 24 years of that.